Hello everybody, welcome back. Today what we're doing is we're looking at example 2 on 3.7. Multiplying polynomials is more than one variable. So in these cases, not only is it more than one variable, we also have basically two binomials are the same. So it's a plus b squared, which we know is a plus b multiplied by a plus b. So there's a little shortcut to this. We can say this is equal to you'll notice on here you square the first term of the binomial, take the product of the two, and then square the second binomial. So I'm going to show you a little trick to that. Alright, so what this is going to look like is going to be, we just take the first term, we square that, so it's going to be a squared. And then we take the product of the two terms and then double it, so a plus b, so we take a times b, and then we double it, so multiply it by 2, and then we square the second term. B squared becomes, b times b becomes b squared. And it's that easy. You're done. Okay? The next one. Is subtract, so you do the same thing, only now it's going to be minus here. We square the a, we get a squared. We square the b, we get b squared. And then the middle term is a multiplied by negative b, which would be negative ab. Double it would be negative 2ab. Alright, let's look at the next one. So that's going to equal x squared, and then we get 7xy. So it's going to be 7xy. And then we double it, so we double 7 and we get 14. And then this one's a little different this time because we're going to need the brackets because it's going to be 7y squared. So when it's 7y squared, just remember that the 7 squared becomes 49 and the y squared becomes y squared. So it becomes 49 y squared. You have to square the coefficient and square the variable. Okay, so just be mindful of that when you're doing the next one. So in this one here, we get x squared minus 2xy, double it, gives us 4, and then the negative 2y squared, negative 2y squared, the negative becomes squared, so you get 4, and then the y squared, so you end up with 4y squared. Okay, so this becomes 4y squared, the negative 2 squared, and then the y squared. And we have x plus 8. You don't have to have a variable. You could have just like I have here, you could have just a number, right? A constant. So we'll do that as well. So then we get the x squared, and then it's 8 times x, right? Plus 8 times x, but then you double it, so it becomes 16, right? And then the 8 squared becomes 64. So 8 squared, 64. All right? All right, the next one, we have 4ab, so we're going to insert, right, that's going to equal, equals, bracket, plus, I need this each time, so I'll make this down here. All right. Perfect. So this becomes, take the 4a, square it, and then the middle term is going to be minus 2 times 4a times 5b. So I didn't show that before, but if you're missing that, that's what essentially we're doing. I was doing it in my head, but I mean we can do it like that. Negative 5b squared. All right, that's what essentially it's going to look like. Some of you knew what I was doing there, but if not, I just wanted to make sure we get a good grasp on that. So the 4a squared becomes 16a squared, right? Square the 4, square the a. 2 times 4 times 5 is negative 20, and it's ab. Right? Oh, 20, sorry. And then, or 40, then I didn't double it, my bad, 40. And then this becomes 25b squared. And there's your term. Okay, so you don't need to show that first line. Once you get the hang of it, you can if you wish, but like I said, there's no need. It's up to you. Alright, so we take the 6p, square it, then we take double, and it's minus because there's a negative out front. And again, if you want to put the plus here on the above one and the negative here, it's the same thing. I'll do the, I guess I should probably put the plus double the 2, then the 6p, and then the negative 7 if you want to show it, and then the negative 7 squared. Okay? And we get 6p squared, which would be 36p squared. And 2 times 6 times negative 7, which would be negative 84, right? 6 times 7 is 42, double that's 84, and then you're going to have p there. And then the 7 squared, negative 7 squared would be 49. Like that. And there's your final. Okay? And I see you're getting the hang of this. It's pretty straightforward. I'll just keep doing the rest of them just so we get a hang of this. So it'd be 3a squared, and then 2 times 3a times positive 1, and then the positive 1 squared. Right? Simple as that. And then I'll just recopy it and actually multiply it out. So we get negative 3 squared, which is 9. Sorry, 3a squared, which is 9a squared. 2 times 3a times 1 would be 6a. Right? And then 1 squared, which is simply 1. There. And we can keep going with this. Sometimes you'll have the x squared term at the end, and that's no big deal. So this just becomes 3 squared plus 2 times 3 times negative x multiplied by negative, or sorry, plus negative x squared. And we'll just clean this up. We get 3 squared is 9. 2 times 3 times negative x is negative 6x. Oh, negative, sorry. My apologies, 9 minus 6x. And the negative x squared just becomes, obviously, x squared. You guys are starting to see this now. J. So you get 5a squared multiplied by 2 times 5a times 2b and multiplied by 2b squared, right? So now we multiply it out by squaring them. So 5a squared is 25a squared. Square the 5, square the a. 2 times 5 times 2ab would be 20ab. AB, and 2ab squared would be, it's not 2b squared, it's 4b squared, right? Because you're squaring 2, you square the b, that's why I show the brackets. Alright? And the last one with the x's here. We have equal to 4x, that's squared, plus 2 times 4x, bracket, open up your bracket, minus 3y, close bracket, and minus 3y squared. And then we get 16x squared. And there we'd have 2 times 4 is 8 times 3 would be negative 24. Minus 24 xy, the rest is gone. And then we take the negative 3 squared, we get 9 in the y squared, so we get 9y squared. Alright, so we say that ax squared plus b plus 2ab plus b squared is what's called a perfect square trinomial. So when we're doing the next section, you'll be able to identify that and be able to factor it. So we're going to go in reverse, right? The reverse or the inverse of multiplying these, or the opposite, I guess, would be factoring. So that's where we're going with this. There's check your understanding questions. There's one that we were doing, and then there's one that we did before. Done no differently, the 2v by 3v, 2v by 2w, 2v by minus 7, and you can just continue on. I didn't show an example of that because we know how to do that. We've been doing that all along. So those are the answers that go along with that, right there. And then this one here is just a fun one you can try. It's not responsible for it, but it's a fun one. I guess I should say try this. There's only one. So if you were to expand that, what it looks at is, well, let's expand it and multiply it out, and we'll show you a little trick. Okay. Again, you're not responsible for this, but it's cool to see. So that means we'd have x. Oh, sorry, we'd have x plus 2y multiplied by x plus 2y multiplied by x plus 2y. And then you would multiply it out. You multiply these two first. You can do the trick for that, and then you multiply it, right? It's up to yourself. And that would give us, it would be equal to x times, we'll do the first two. We can do the trick before that we learned above. So that would be x squared. Right, we're going to multiply these two together, so we'd end up with x squared plus 2 times x times 2y, so we end up with 4xy, and then 2x squared would be plus 4y, and that 4y would be squared. Right? So multiply the first two together, first two binomials, and that's what we end up with. And then we have to multiply these out, which you guys know how to do. So it'll be x times x, which is x cubed, x squared times 2y, which would be 2 x squared y, and then we'd have the x squared multiplied by 2, the 4xy multiplied by x, which would be 4x squared y. 4x squared y, and then 4xy multiplied by 2y, which would be 8. X 8xy squared, and then get the 4y squared multiplied by the x, and we get 4xy squared, right? And then the 4y multiplied by the 2y, and we get 8y cubed. Okay. And you're going to collect like terms. X cubed by itself. These two x squared y's come together and become 6. X squared y. And the 8 and 4 come together and become 12 xy squared, and then you're left with the plus 8 y. Alright, and then that's finished. And there's a shortcut. If you ever see a binomial cubed, you can use what's called Pascal's triangle. That's something you can research. We won't be responsible for it, but it takes the form of this. A cubed 3a squared b plus 3ab squared plus b cubed. So pretty neat, and if you did that this way, you can try that on your own and it would work out. So we only got a few seconds left, so we'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.